By the way, they took some time to get that made.
It did take some time.
Dealing with people's...
How did you feel about doing that? Like, it, and I don't know your world as obviously as well as you guys do, but like, do people see you and go, turtle? And did you want to get away from that? So when they offer you the movie, were you like, God damn it, I'm finally getting away from this turtle thing?
You know, it's a really, I mean, I think it's a semi-interesting conversation, not even because it's me. Like, I've seen other people sort of go through it. It's like, just when because we had the luxury of actually knowing when Entourage was going to end. Like, we knew in like season 5, we're going 8 years, and then we're done. So timing out with the fact that I got in shape, I had all this time to like start to get away from the show. And I was actually doing pretty well for me. I'd done 3 or 4 movies. I was getting in rooms. It was like, okay, we broke it a little bit. It's sort of going, it'll never go away. But it's decreasing. Like, people are starting to look at me as Jerry and not the guy from Entourage.
Yeah,
and then
man.
When the movie comes up, it's like, if I'm being honest, and I even told Doug Ellen this and Steve Levinson, is like, do we really want to do this? It's been like 4 years.
It did take
ended on such a good note, I thought.
Yeah. I feel like it was a bad timing part. No disrespect to anyone, but
a lot of things have changed too since the show.
Yeah,
stopped
when it
airing.
came out, it was like, hey man,
how'd the movie do?
It definitely did not meet expectations.
Yeah.
It was not considered like a flop failure or anything, but it was, if you would have asked, you know, some of the people involved making it, you would have thought for sure the movie would have did exponentially better than it did.
I think just the hype. It's like the Friends doing a fucking reunion movie. What? I stopped watching that.
Doug Ellen's had a
ago.
tough time replicating any of that success.
I think anybody would too.
Yeah,
to a degree,
yeah, of
'cause,
course.
like, so much of it also is lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, man.
Because we didn't really even know what we were doing in those first 2 years.
chemistry,
You were
man.
around it too. Like we were figuring it out as it went. First 2 years, not many people were watching the show,
Yeah.
and then season 3, just something happened.
Boom.
Yeah.
And everyone, not everyone, but a lot
It was
of people
big. It
were
was
watching
huge.
the show.
I remember the reason I asked about that whole turtle thing and trying to get away from it,
Yeah.
because Piven's our buddy,
Yeah.
really good friend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Piven was saying how he was talking to this girl at dinner, and she was like, God, I thought you were going to be an asshole. He's like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, you know, like Ari Gold. He's like, that's a character.
Right. It's
That
not
I'm
real
playing
life.
a role.
Yeah.
Check, please. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, what? And
Yeah.
so for him, especially, like, people think he's that intense, like Ari Gold, and he's far from it,
Right.
man.
Dude,
He's brilliant.
Well, Jeremy was smart because he went to another country.
He left.
He's starting another TV
Mr.
show.
Selfridge.
I'm going to take a little break,
Couldn't be any
guys.
more opposite.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there and do that, and I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back.
Like
You
that.
know?
That's why I thought, because for you, like I saw you in About Last Night, which I loved, About Last Night too, all that stuff, and then it goes back to Because I'm sure your agent was like, I mean, listen, you can do it, man. It's a motion, big picture.
Here is the problem with it. It's like, and I really did resist it to a degree. There was all these talks like, oh, who's slowing it down? It's not that I was slowing it down. It really became about the business part of it. It's like, hey, if we're gonna do this, and I'm not saying we're just doing it for money. That's not ever why you just do anything. To me, anyway, you have to have some sort of enjoyment doing it. But, you know, we have to make sure that if this doesn't go well or doesn't go right, which it didn't necessarily go right, that it was at least worth the risk, because it is a risk at that point for all of us to go back in
For sure.
and play those characters again. That it'll never go away. But like I said, I was doing all right, and I'm still doing all right.
Heck
but
yeah.
it took a minute too after we did the movie to kind of reset again. So
bet,
now
man.
you gotta hit that reset button again. I only got so many of those in me.
For sure.
Dude, there's
I only got so many button pressing.
There are so many examples of people that come off a show like that and never work again, or it's never the same. And that's why I was thinking about it. You and Jeremy are the only guys, and it's not a knock on anybody, because I think Kevin Conley's great. I like,
Yeah, and Connolly's
Kevin's doing-
directing.
yeah, he's doing his own
great.
thing.
Yeah, I'm
Connolly
glad he's
loves
doing well, because
directing.
he's a smart
No,
guy.
he's
I
doing
like-
well. He's
I like
he's
that dude.
directed.
Yeah.
He's actually owns
Yeah.
the rights to the Kimbo
It's
Slice
just a
story.
very,
right.
it's a very weird business, is all I'm saying. And you just, for 1,000 reasons, things can either work really well or they don't work out so
Yeah,
well.
perception is reality, unfortunately. Like you were talking about Jeremy, like I literally feel like I've disappointed fans of Entourage when they meet me in real life, because they expect, let's go smoke a blunt and fucking listen to music in the
Let's
the
get
Hummer.
our
It's
New York
like,
hats and fucking
oh, man, like,
Yeah.
we're going out tonight. Dude, I live with my girlfriend for like 4 years. I'm going to bed at like 10:30 tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been disappointing people for years.
It's a character. Yeah, I'm an actor. You
It's a
fucking
character.
idiot.
It's a
I certainly
character.
was a lot more like that
Yeah.
around the time I was 21, 22 when I first
Sure.
moved out here. I know who that dude is, but
Yeah.
Joe Frazier's jockstrap, unwashed, mind you, is being auctioned off from the Ali fight of the century fight?
Bet your sweet ass it is. For how much?
Take a guess.
I mean, Ali just
How much would you
died.
pay for an unwashed jockstrap from another man?
Oh yeah, nothing. But the fact that you're bringing it up, I mean, I'm gonna hit it at 20 grand, but I'm being ridiculous. I'm gonna hit it at 20 grand.
56 grand.
I think it's expected to sell for 10 grand, or it was expected to sell for 10 grand, but it met its 5 grand
Minimum.
marker in the first 6 hours.
Well, if you buy that,
Probably gonna triple that.
Yeah.
It'll probably end up being somewhere around 15 grand.
I'll tell you right
maybe
now.
20.
I'll tell you right now. If you buy that and I go to your house for a house party and it's framed, I'm probably gonna leave.
Right.
Can't be friends anymore, man. Why? You bought a other man's jockstrap and you framed it.
Yeah.
And you're proud of it.
That's hilarious.
Can't
Yes.
be your friend anymore.
If some guy
You're on
has
ice.
that and then wants me to come look at it, you're right. I'm gonna go. Yeah, that's a little weird.
Can't be your friend. Don't
That's
call me
a
anymore.
little
There's no
weird.
more barbecues. Nothing. Is that it, Ev?
No, so you're not gonna be throwing in a bid for the jockstrap then?
There's not a man that has ever been born on this planet that I'd pay money for his used jockstrap.
My own. I'm not keeping my own dirty jet. That's gross. There's a reason I wash it at the end of practice, right? It's weird.
This is funny. My John Jones, maybe his second or third fight when we were training together, I beat Chase Gormley in 47 seconds. He was the main event against, I think, either Matashenko or Brandon Vera in Broomfield, Colorado. He forgot his jockstrap and tights. I beat the brakes off my guy 47 seconds. I come back, and he's like, Shab, I need your jockstrap, man. I'm like, what? He goes, I need your jockstrap. I'm like, why the fuck do you want to use my jockstrap? He's like, I don't have one. All right. Gave it to him. It was my favorite pair. It was this Under Armour one. Never got him back.
Yeah.
But, at the time, you desperation, you'll wear a jockstrap. You
I
can't
had to-
fight without it.
I had to
stole
do
your
that with
jockstrap?
Chris Camozzi one time. We're on the same
Did you?
card. I go, dude, and we had just met. You know each other. The world's small. We cut weight the day before in the sauna. I see him the next day. I go, I need your jock and cup. And I was like, and I'm never giving it back. Just so you know. And he's like, no, you're not. You're not giving it back. Keep it. I'm like, thank you, buddy.
Chael, have you had the itch to fight again recently?
Oh man, I think about it all the time. I wrestled in college, and I will tell you, one match specifically, but matches in general, I'll be driving around in my car thinking about fantasizing to go in that moment. And I've talked to fighters that have retired, and I guess that's just the way your life's going to go from now. You probably do that with football, MMA, I mean, with an athletic
I
career.
don't.
Do you do that with the show at all? Like, do you ever go home and go, I could have done even better on the show. Oh, I should have done
Oh,
this.
every
or
time.
should-" Yeah.
Every time.
And see, I do the same thing. So I think it's like, well, you just got to come to terms with it. But to answer the question candidly, yeah, man, I think about it all the time.
So if your suspension's up in freaking a few days.
I think it's up. I think I'm off right now.
So if you're off in the UFC called, you would fight?
No, I would not. No, I am all done. But
You're done.
Yeah, but I do think about it. I do fantasize about it. And, I was just at UFC 200, right? The arena's packed. It's just brand new. And you're jealous. I'm enjoying the show, but at the same time, I'm thinking, man, I'd love to be part of that. So
I can
Think
see
about
that. I like the big cards. I'm like, man, it'd be cool to be involved with that. And I had a business opportunity with Bellator. They flew me out. It was the Phil Davis and King Mo card. And I brought my brother, and I met with Coker, did all this stuff. And I said to myself, all right, if I get to the arena, because I haven't been to a live fight since my last fight against Travis Brown 2 years ago, for many reasons. So I said, if I get in there and it hits me, I can figure some stuff out. The UFC, obviously, I'm under contract with them. I could fight whenever I want. And I got there, and they walked me through the back of the locker rooms because Phil and I are close, and King Mo. And I was like, no, hell no. Once I get there in person, I'm like, no way, man.
And I went through that as well. I remember when I very first, I fought Anderson Silva the second time. I lost, and I remember thinking, I'm probably not going to do this sport anymore. And I went home to Portland, and there was a strike force going on. I went live, and this is like 5 days after I fought. Boom! It's the very next Friday, and Tim Kennedy and Rockhold were fighting. I remember watching it cage side, just going, I can't believe I ever did this. And it had only been 5 days. It's like I can't believe I ever did this, let alone want to do it again. And then some more time went by, and next thing I know, you get the itch, goes the other way. But I understand, what you're saying about that.
It's weird because my manager's like, when you retire, man, you can always say you retire and then come back. And I was like, yeah, it's a loose statement. I'll do that. Maybe I'll cut to 205 with this new diet, blah, blah, blah. It's just not there for me, man. Right. And that's so dangerous.
Yeah,
it's so dangerous.
But then there's your answer, right? Then there's your answer.
I think it was the right choice.
If I don't want to do it, then I'm not going to do it.
If I could give any advice to anyone not even doing music, but just that's going out and putting themselves out in front of people, you know, on a public scale. I'm going to be a public figure. I think the key to success is being yourself. You know what I mean? Like I feel like human beings subconsciously could look at another human being and just be like, that dude's being authentic. You know what I mean? And like, sure, I might not vibe with it. It might not be my thing, but that's him, you know? And I think
that's why you can never look bad when you're really honest or really vulnerable. It's interesting because when you kind of go, look, man, even when people really fuck up, like when they really fuck up and they say something like, yeah, I did it, and I feel really ashamed.
That's what I want to say with John Jones. I don't know if you guys follow UFC with John Jones, right?
I cheated, yeah.
He should just get on the mic and be like, all right, man, I'm fucking 27, 28. I'm the greatest fighter of all time. The night before they came and tested me, I was balls deep in some girl doing lines off this girl's titties. What do you want me to do?
Tiger
I'm
Woods?
the best dude in the world.
Right. I thought that way about Tiger
I'll be back in 2 years.
When Tiger Woods was reading that statement, I was like, stop, put that fucking thing down and say this. Hey, guys, I was the most famous golfer in the world. I've had to be perfect my entire life. I had the best looking women in the world throwing themselves at me.
I also have the personality of this kettlebell.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be this way, and I have no I'm going to try to be better. I cheat on my wife a lot. I committed gross infidelity.
Like a lot.
I actually felt guilty, but I really liked it. That's the truth. I'm not saying I admire myself. I'm embarrassed and ashamed mainly because of my kids, but I'm going to try to be better.
And then I would say, hey, fellas, try being me and not fucking slanging this small Asian dick.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
It's not, sir.
Half.
It's, yeah, okay.
Come correct.
Don't say it's small.
Come correct.
You're being stereotypical.
Well, he's half black, half Asian.
Yeah, Dad was.
So you really have no idea. That's one guy you have no idea what.
He's working with something.